Hi. Yes, there was a few things I wanted to say about the last two boxing weekends, the results. Well, I kind of I had some of my predictions were done correctly, but some were not. Anyway, what happened was between Suletsky and Rosado was that Suletsky won on points. That was my original prediction. Then I figured maybe the odds. I had heard that the odds were quite high on Suletsky winning by a knockout. So I kind of was swayed by that. So I had picked a ninth round TKO for Suletsky, but he won points, and he even got knocked down once. So I heard. I didn't watch it yet, but I knew that Rosado, he's a tough cookie, so he would give him a really good fight. So now I hope that Suletsky gets to fight someone like the best guys out there. Maybe a fight against Sergey Derevianchenko wouldn't be so bad for him. Yeah, so uh, that was about that. Then there was of course the one fight that I predicted correctly was not entirely, but anyway. Errol Spence Jr. and Mikey Garcia. I just knew that Mikey wouldn't win this fight because it would have been too much. Simply, nobody is that. Not. I mean, he is just too small, and he never should have done this. He should have stayed at 140 at least. Even though I think he left 135 a little bit too fast. These days in boxing, there's a kind of whenever a fighter is very successful, he starts to think that is mostly for these lower divisions, and he starts to think, yeah, I can win, it's no longer being enough being a champion at this weight class that he's in or at currently. He feels the need that he has to prove himself at a higher weight class, and just it's not about so much proving yourself, but chasing as many weight class world titles as possible. So this is the mistake that Mikey made, and I don't know how much it will affect him. He did get a beating, but he wasn't stopped as I thought he might get, but he was totally just not in the fight. So yeah, and yeah, Errol Spence is now in talks to fight Manny Pacquiao, and he is the guy I think who most of all started this, uh, weight class mania, like, and when he won in 8 world weight classes, world title, yeah. And Errol Spence, I think, has also is the favorite in that fight as well. If it happens, many may just well realize that before then. I hope that he will realize the time has come to retire. So you know how that's. Uh, I mean, apart from Crawford and maybe Keith Thurman, I don't see anyone else in at 147 who can beat Errol Spence Jr. right now. No way. Yes. And Thomas Ost, who is, as I predicted, he lost by a decision to Alexei Igorov, who is pretty, uh, unknown fighter, a new fighter, but he showed that he can be a force in the division, perhaps the cruiserweight. So, no, not so much to say about that. I think Osthuizen kind of has perhaps already had his best days as a fighter and has wasted a little too much perhaps on being out of shape. But he's struggled, I think, because he started at a low division for his height, 6'4", to fight at a super middleweight for as long as he did. That's really, that can be hard, making the weight. And then he jumped up to light heavyweight and did well, mostly until he lost for the first time. No, actually, he didn't lose at light heavyweight. He lost to Machunu at cruiserweight. So yeah. But he will always struggle, I've seen him fight and he looked really big physically, and he's no longer the skinny, lanky white boy he used to be. And it's gonna be, I think he doesn't want to go to heavyweight, even though he will eventually perhaps have to, because he doesn't have power. Even at light heavyweight, he wasn't, he had a decent power, but not really exceptional. And at heavyweight, he will have no power at all. So, even though some guys, have gained some power after moving up to, gaining, going to the right weight class for them, because if they no longer can make, let's say he can't make 175 anymore, and then he goes up to 200, like for instance when Nathan Cleverly, I remember, moved up from 175 to 200, he started knocking out guys. I mean, it wasn't really, he didn't have many fights and those weren't really good fighters, but he really took apart those guys like easily. Like he never did at 175. He always had to, in all his knockout victories, he just bang, 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 bang for like 10 rounds before the guy surrenders, more or less. That's what happened. So I've seen him fight guys and just land and land and land and land, and nothing happened in many cases. So yeah, that's Osthuizen will perhaps struggle to make the cruiserweight limit after a while. So then he will have to either retire or fight as a heavyweight. But this loss will pretty much derail his career, I think. Yes, Luis Collazo also, he won by a split decision to Samuel Vargas. This is a guy also that he needs to retire, really. I mean, he doesn't really have anything left to do as a fighter. He's 37, so, he should take this. I mean, if he struggles to beat He's 38 in a month actually. He if he struggles to beat Samuel Vargas, then he can never be a real force. So, enough. That's all about that. Jesse Magdaleno, he beat Rico Ramos, but by a decision. I kind of thought maybe he would be, after that rather brutal loss, he was stopped in the 11th round in his last fight against Dogbo. And this shows that he hasn't really gained his old, powers yet, because he has had to go 10 rounds to beat a guy like Rico Ramos, so who was easily knocked out by Claudio Marrero, who is just like a solid fighter, but nowhere near, world class, elite. So, yeah, Magdaleno has the power, of course, but his loss to Dogboy means that, maybe he's not as great as he himself maybe thought so. But Dogboy, he has lost to, that was a big surprise, Emmanuel Navarrete. So, yeah, you never know in boxing anyway. Surprises do happen. And Lorenzo Colli, he beat Wadi Camacho in 4 rounds, and I had predicted a 5th round TKO, and it was a 4th round TKO. Close enough. Yes, Kevin Lerena, he surprised me. He won't score the 4th round TKO against Arthur Mann. But I really didn't know nothing about Mann, except that he was undefeated, so it was hard to make that prediction. Yes, David Benavides, that's the one. Yeah, he was. He knocked out actually Julian Love even faster than I thought he would in 2 rounds. That was very good. I mean, that guy is really, world class. Really, really good. So, yeah, I kind of look forward to him fighting the best guys, of course, at 168. If Callum Smith stays long enough to fight him, that would be good, because both guys are tall, and just Benavides is a little more aggressive, perhaps, and has fast hands and throws a lot of punches, while Smith, he tends to be more like the guy who picks his punches, and he's just good at catching you. Of course, a big puncher, and that will be good. I hope that fight happens, or if not, then he can always fight someone like Chris Eubank Jr. or some of the other guys, Gilberto Ramirez, why not? An all Mexican showdown at 168. That doesn't happen a lot. Well, so that was that for now. I'll be back in one of these next few days with a video on the next weekend's fights. There are some good ones, like I just now can't remember right now, but I know there are. Yeah, that's right. Kerman Learaga is fighting, and David Evanesian, Liam Smith versus Sam Egg. Yeah. Okay, so that was all. Bye bye.